Now we're live. Now we're live.
I didn't do
Um,
the 5-4. It usually does a countdown or something, but
oh,
okay.
really? Interesting. It did for me. I don't know why. Sometimes I feel like
Yeah.
maybe there's bugs.
Ah,
That's the thing.
bugs,
Software
bugs,
bugs.
bugs. There's always bugs. Squashing more bugs, and you squash one bug, and a new pops up. One
Right.
pops up. I know you've been working a lot on those, but
Did you see that?
ev-
Did you see that code reviewed this morning? The
I just opened it up just before hopping on,
oh,
but I'm gonna
I
look at
was
it
I was
after.
wondering if that was a comment on that because you know how yesterday I was just like at our stand up. It's like, oh yeah, I'm like fixing this like bug where you have a duplicate host or whatever being created, causing like these audio issues. And I was like, oh cool, it's not gonna be that hard. Like I kind of know what the issue is, and then I dig into it, it's like, oh, well that kind of makes it a little bit harder. And I was like, oh, and then that makes it a little bit harder. And then it took me all day. And I was just like, oh man. But I got it out and it's a good spot and it's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
working
No,
much better
it's
now. But I was just
bugs
like,
are very interesting because I was dealing with a bug yesterday as myself, which was, um, and I realized this. I think maybe it's an AI specific thing, but I think I made a mistake where I was chatting with the LLM and I was like, diagnosis, but I had an assumption the bug is here, and so I just tried to make it fix that bug over. It just didn't do, and then I realized it's actually a second order effect. It was happening somewhere else, and then it fixed it in 2 minutes. And I was like, oh, AI just because it's like putting on blinders on a horse. So you're asking it to go fast, but it doesn't have the ability to change direction.
right.
So that I think that's still a big area. I feel like these models are super smart. They're smart than me in so many areas, but they don't have the understanding. Like, oh, actually, no, I don't think there's an issue here. I think this is fine. They'll like find an issue somehow.
Right.
They'll find an issue in that one file. It's like,
Totally. It's super interesting. I think that there's still this fallacy where I think we leverage AI. We do leverage AI to do a lot of coding and help us accelerate that process. And then because it can code pretty well, like, oh, like it did this thing really well. Like it's so smart. It's just like generally smart. And it could do like all the things that a software engineer does because you get this mental model where oh, it's like can write this feature for me. It does this thing really well. It's like, oh, because it could do this, you could do X, it could also do Y, like bug fixing. And like, no, it's like sometimes it just can't. And I get in the problem sometimes where I'm like, hey, you could do all that. You're so smart. You're just generally very smart as a programmer, but the reality it's not sometimes, and it's just sometimes it's
yeah,
way more painful
yeah,
to be like, oh, you're wrong.
true.
Let me
That's why
put
it's
my
always
coding hat
important
on.
to keep in touch with keep grounded with the code base so you know what's going on. But before getting too deep into the bug territory, taking a step back. Hi guys.
Hey, everybody.
Thanks for joining. Sorry, you caught us in the middle of a bug rant.
Yes.
But I see Noel, I see Mohammed, on the chat. Hello, hello.
Good to see you both.
Uh,
Yeah. How's everybody's week going?
yeah,
Um,
that's nice. Yeah, I feel
but
like we give updates. I feel like with our core group, who joins us, you guys should tell us like how your life is going as well. We're curious to hear that. About how just in general. It doesn't have to be Jellypod specific as well. Uh,
yeah,
although
no,
although
totally.
obviously if Jellypod does make your life easier. It warms our heart. There's that.
Yes, absolutely. Um, and I know, oh, stomach bug. No stomach bugs over here. This is
Wait for
funny.
you.
I'll throw this on their stream. Until you heard AI. Nope, no stomach bugs, just coding
I
bugs.
mean, sometimes by proxy, your stomach does start hurting. If the bug doesn't go away.
Your stomach, your brain, everything hurts. Um,
True.
yeah. So, um, yeah, well, if it's your first time watching this, I know everybody who's online seems like you've all have been there here before, but if you're watching the recording, I'm Pearson and this is Bilal, and we do this every week where we just hop on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m., just chat for 30 minutes about the product, chat with you all, give updates on our roadmap, what we're working on. Bilal's working on some awesome stuff right now that we're super excited to roll out soon. I'm working on some cool stuff regarding teams, which I haven't talked too much about, but we're going to be adding that in soon. so you can collaborate with people. But yeah, so this is what we do. We just chat for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel like it's actually cool to talk about some of the features we're working on. With the group, because I feel like you guys can like really inform us about if how what the level of excitement for this is. I've been working on like Pearson's been working on under the hood for teams, organizations, basically doing a huge revamp on a database, which will enable you to have basically have a team level settings, and you can invite people, have access control, all that. I think that's going to be a huge unlock for people who want to do like have a bigger scope, like a business oriented scope where you want to have your coworkers on a Jellypod account, etc. So won't give away too much, but I think that's a very exciting feature. And then on my end, I've been working on and we've hinted, I know you guys have asked for it, but basically adding the ability to add video, images, and audio onto your podcast. I think that's pretty cool as well. I think the struggle there is like making sure the UX looks clean and it doesn't add too much clutter to your workflow, because we've struggled with this where we want to give you this awesome experience where, unlike other tools out there which throw like 100 things at you, we want you to come in and just really be able to create the perfect podcast, have a simple Apple-like experience. But then also we want to give you this ability to add stuff like, oh, I want to add a background music overlay, etc. And so trying to enable that without adding too much clutter. And so if you guys have any ideas or strong opinions about how that should look like, please let us know.
Yeah, totally. The core way that we think about how we add features, and Noel, I see your question here, um, but we'll get to that in a second. But the core way that I think about what we build and how we release features is that we have to make sure that the experience stays smooth, that it's not overwhelming, it's beginner friendly but powerful, and also that everything out of the box could be one click publishable. That's the key. So everybody here, you're all super users. If you're watching this as a recording, you're invested enough, you probably have some desires, and you probably tweak the script after it's generated. You may add intro music. You may change the templates from the classic audiograms to the spotlight or karaoke templates. Everything that we give you should be, at least for most people, good enough to click publish without zero edits. And that is our goal. That's our North Star, that you can upload information as long as you review and you're satisfied with that outline. You've uploaded the right stuff. The script should be good enough if you've done your host creation well enough to just click publish. And then also we give you the editing. So, there's going to be times where you have to make changes to the script. You may have to change the outline and regenerate that script, regenerate audio. But hopefully we can, for most people, give you something out of the box that is great, that you can click to publish. And then if you want to go and edit that thing to perfection because it just wasn't there yet, you can. You have that creative control to do that. So it's very less about giving you the ability to do all these new things, but more so refining what we're producing so that it really matches that thing that you envisioned at the beginning of that process. We're in the business of reading your mind. And so hopefully that we can create something that's much better that you can create on your own by default out of the box. So that's kind of that mental model there.
Yeah, 100%.
And then I see, so we'll answer some questions here. So downloading SRT seems to be hit or miss. Does that just mean it just fails? So just fails to download, or just nothing happens, or SRTs are caption files for anybody unaware. You could download the captions of your transcript. They're failing to download. I have two thoughts why. Sometimes I probably know why that's happening. Sometimes you might have to wait 30 seconds after publishing to download. So, because sometimes we don't have the, actually, I don't know, maybe if it still happens like after a minute after publishing or downloading the video, we'll have to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Noel saying it's not even, it's grayed out. Interesting. I don't know. It shouldn't really be grayed out. You can check. Yeah. Does
Gotcha.
that stay if you refresh? No?
Yeah. So we'll take a look at this. I'm just going to
Right.
track this down in linear right now. Investigate. Customer reported bug. I love doing these. Cool. And then, yeah, so we just started. I know you made a comment here. When did we start reporting the number of credits left after regen? We started doing this just after regenerations recently. I think we don't do a good enough job communicating certain credits, because I've seen a lot of people, first-time users, go through their credits really quickly without realizing that regenerating audio consumes those credits. And so in the little message that appears after regeneration succeeds, we're going to just post how many credits you have available. We might just improve this, putting a bigger credits somewhere else in the sidebar or somewhere else. But for now, that's where we're putting it, just so you know and you're aware that, hey, you're running low on credits, you have this many left. Not how many you've used for that regeneration, but just like your total, your current credit balance.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
So
Script export would be good.
script export.
Script, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had this conversation with some people recently, with Emily and Liz, and I had a call with them. If you're watching this, we'll release that one soon too, on the customer story. But yeah, script export would be good. I see it. We have that tracked.
Yeah, I'm curious,
But,
like, what the biggest use case there is. Like, is it to uh, publish to another platform, like the script separately, or just edit it and re-import?
I think I bet you it's edit and re-import.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, there's especially, and maybe there's maybe it's like easier to just copy paste or something where you just have a one-click copy. I don't know if it's if
Yeah.
like you don't need the document. It's more just like a temporary. I want to move it over.
Right. Yeah. I think the reason, I think we peeling back the onion one level here, it's the reason somebody wants to export the script is to use additional editing software, whether that's ChatGPT, whether that's just to save a copy of the script for some reason, or to just use something like Google Docs as a collaborative interface so you can work on the script with other people. And so all three of those things are just limitations of Jellypod, versus something that that should just be the root cause of why you want to export the script, should be in Jellypod in the first place. So using AI to edit the script, fine-grained script edits, making it longer, making it shorter, selecting a paragraph and saying, hey, just rewrite this in this tone. And copy paste hasn't got the speaker. Yeah, that's right.
Got it. Yeah,
So
makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely can do that. Make it better. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that, especially that area is gonna hopefully change a lot because we're gonna be adding, I think, more interesting, like options with the regen, like in the custom settings for each speech block. We've talked about what was it? There was not speed, but we've talked about prompts and stuff where you can like make the actual dialogue sound a certain way. So yeah, we have different options there as well.
Right. Right. Yeah, because that would be interesting too. And that goes back into what we were first talking about. Also, it's like uh, maybe behind, like probably if we were to add that ability to direct how the thing is said, like with prompts. Don't know if we'll do it, but if we do it, that would be something that's generated by the system in the first place.
That's
That
true. Yeah.
prompt,
Yeah.
and then if you don't like that, you can click in, dive in a little bit deeper, see, hey, why does it sound like this? And then you see the I don't know what you'd even name that, but um, the, the the voice direction or something. You see the prompt, I guess.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense for sure. I'm curious for the chat. If do you add background music to your podcasts? If you do post processing, if you had the ability, would do you know the song already, or it's something you would need to pick, and would it change every episode, or would you have the same like theme for your whole podcast? So curious, like how people think. Well, we were talking about this about what if it's a podcast theme. Like for me, I feel like I would probably have a more of a consistent theme, but I can see obviously like some people just mixing it up as well, like depending on the episode. So,
Right.
um, I mean it's a I think adding some background music and stuff I think can be a very powerful feature. It's something I've been thinking a lot about. Obviously, with the timeline, the post processing editor thing we want to give you. Uh, let's see, custom music bed that is loopable. I know. Thanks. Ooh.
Yeah. How do you loop it? And if you're watching the recording too, let us know in the comments. I know we get a lot more people that watch the recordings afterwards, so
Right.
um, let us know. Let us know. I'm gonna put this. I have some. I'm gonna write something down in our roadmap here. So, yeah. Cool. We're gonna have a call to discuss.
Okay. Well,
Cool. Yeah.
mhm.
Awesome. Um,
But yeah, no, I mean makes sense. Though I have little scripts of my own which I like to like blend in some music or overlays, and it's always interesting like how many edge cases actually can arrive because the audio can be shorter. So do you want to loop it at that point? Do you want to cut the video to the audio, or vice versa, etc.
right.
So it's interesting. Mm.
The interesting thing too is like our differences in perspective. As I think you've been in the media gen space longer in terms of just content creation, like with Shorts Generator and these things. And then I haven't really as much, which is cool because there's a differing in perspective of like what's even possible and what like people know about and what people want to do and what people should know, should be able to do, and what we should actually expose to somebody that's like, oh, this is a possible
Yeah.
something to think about, and like what we should expose, which is a cool perspective. So like this is like looping music versus like cutting it off, or I don't know. It's just interesting.
Yeah, no,
So
for sure. And I think, and I like the fact that we have, come from these different places because I think it gives us, helps us not get pigeonholed into a certain perspective and stuff, which I'm definitely guilty of, because sometimes I
right.
do feel like I'm plugged in too much, and I'm like, just not taking a step back and thinking from first principles what makes the best sense. So,
What I try to do when I'm coding, when I'm designing things, or anything, I try to put on my 10-year-old hat. Like
Uh,
sometimes I need to put on my super extreme smart engineer hat. That's like I am a beast coder or beast whatever, and give me all the smarts and IQ I can to do this thing. But then sometimes, usually when it's in design and UX, it's like I put on my 10-year-old hat. And I'm like, oh, if a 10-year-old was on this platform right now, are they going to be overwhelmed or confused? Because that's
mm,
how I act on any new platform that I go to. You're like a 10-year-old. I mean, you have like you're smart, obviously, and you could use an interface and you could figure things out, but
right. Yeah.
you don't have experience in a lot of stuff. And so it's like, yeah, you have to kind of struggle a little bit, but you don't want to struggle that much or you
No,
won't
no,
use
that
it.
that's like a good heuristic. Yeah, just cut it down like, would it woo 10-year-olds, And
Right.
oftentimes, it just cuts through the bull crap and just gets to the heart of the matter. So,
It
um,
was funny. I
yeah.
had a conversation with my mom this weekend, and we were talking about AI a little bit, and she was saying how, like, what would be so sick? This would be, and she's like, this would be so cool if we could just have an AI on my computer that can just do anything I tell it to do. Like, yes, yes, that's exactly what everybody wants. She's like, yeah, like I just want to talk to Siri and just say, hey, like what's on my calendar, and or like just she's like, the apps are so confusing and all these things. Like I just want to just tell the AI to go do this thing for me. I'm like, yes, yes, mom. That's exactly what everyone's trying to get to. It's just
Right.
very, very
Yeah.
hard. It's
Oh,
just it's
man.
funny.
But it comes to the point that sometimes, we get too into the technicals or the details about, oh, how it looks. But like, oftentimes it's just like, oh, just the simple thing is like, what most people want, and you just do it really well and execute, and that's the
Right,
high leverage item there. So yeah,
right.
I agree. I mean, I think sometimes, I'm blinded to a lot of simple possibilities and stuff because I just assume somebody figured that out or it's already done, and I'm like, it's so basic. Everyone kind of has their own hacky way of doing it, but most people don't. I mean, they're too busy with their lives, and they just want the thing. So even like ChatGPT, I feel like some people are still figuring out like, oh, ChatGPT, yeah, you can just ask questions and you can get answers and all that. Oh, and there's web search. Wow, I mean, like stuff. You're like, what are you talking about? It's not
Yeah,
2022 anymore, but you know,
right.
I meet people like that. I'm like, wow, okay. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
okay.
Like we're in a tech bubble of like what's cool and like what's novel, and then everybody that's on this call. I mean, we're all in that top 1% of people using tools, AI. Just to be watching this video, I mean, you're ahead of you're all ahead of everybody. I mean, you're the top one point, you're the top 0.001% of people in the world
No, for
that
sure.
even know stuff like this exists, which is super cool, you know?
Right. Even yesterday, I was having this conversation with some people, and they were talking about AI generated blogs, and I'm like, and I started talking about Jellypod and how you can do podcasts and really, set yourself apart because you won't get dinged by Google, or there's less of a chance for that because you can, stand out with your own AI podcast, and I basically try to make the point that the podcasts are the new blogs, and everyone was like, "What? Wow! I didn't even think about like." And I was looking around the room. And I was like, "Wow, okay, yeah, I should just be." For me, this is like an obvious thing, but it's clearly not. Most people haven't heard about AI podcasts, so I should like try to
Right.
sell more.
Totally. No, me too. I had this call yesterday with the European Union and their new initiative called EDU Next, which is like an educational accelerant, kind of embracing new technology, AI. So me and one other founder of another platform, we got an opportunity to talk to like 400 different educators across the
Mm.
EU, mainly in Italy, but I think it was mainly Italy. But it was very, very cool because I got to connect with a lot of them on LinkedIn afterwards and just talk about this opportunity that we have to educate people. So if you're watching this and you're a professor, you're an educator, a good amount of people using Jellypod use this for educational, informational content, either as an educator, professor, lecturer, or as somebody internally to your business that you want to inform an audience about some topic. podcasts are a great thing. I mean, podcasts already today, um, they're informational, they're engaging, they're typically by experts. That's why you watch them, because you're not gonna, like, the people talking about the thing are going to be experts on the thing.
Hmm.
And so it's really cool because now we can use AI and give more people, more experts like you all, a voice to share the knowledge that they have without necessarily sitting behind a microphone, recording and editing and
Yeah.
distributing it and all this stuff. So it was cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's so powerful as an educational tool, And I think one of the, yeah, I remember I listened to one of the interviews you did with one of our customers, and his point was like, when he gives a lecture, there's actually a theory about how you need to reinforce it a certain number of times for the lesson to really stick in your head. And so he used the podcast as a supplementary tool. So like the same lecture he get, he would like summarize it into like these 5 minute snippets and send it like, 3 days out, 5 days out, 7 days out, and like following the whatever the spaced repetition like best
Right.
practice is. And I was like, wow, that's actually a great way to, really drive a lesson home, and I can see people do that, for, obviously their own subject or even languages and stuff. I know Duolingo and other apps have this kind of hack, but I see all sorts of places where you can use the podcast angle, to learn something. So it's very
Right.
cool.
And what's also interesting for us too, as the like we're building that foundation, generic, like we're just generic media. Like at the end of the day, what you're getting when you click publish or download is a piece of media, audio forward, audio being the source of the engaging information. You have video that supplements it, whether it's captions, the artwork, and something a little bit visually engaging. We're going to do better at that part to make it more, have some additional information there, but audio is still the core. But also, like the foundation that we've laid for Jellypod is like, if people are creating educational content, if people are creating HR training materials, if people are creating stuff in specific domains, we can do a better job at creating the format that helps drive that point home. Because the conversation that happens when you're talking about HR and compliance and training, I just did our compliance training this morning, some of it,
Mm,
like the SOC 2 stuff. I'm like,
right.
this could be such an easy podcast that I could be listening to on a walk. I don't have to be
Right.
watching this video. I can listen to it. Um, but we can, as Jellypod, if you're trying to do, hey, HR compliance training, or if you're trying to do educational content for university students, we could do a better job at really making that content really great for that specific domain and differentiated from the other types of content you can create in Jellypod. So, um, yeah, so I thought that was just
Yeah.
pretty cool thing
No, for
to
sure.
think
We should
about.
like actually reach back out to the SOC 2 compliance team and be like, hey, you should make this a podcast, using Jellypod.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Uh, so, but yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. For those kind of trainings, especially, like I remember I've been through so many trainings where you just like it's like the driver's license test. It's just like the same MCQs over and over again, and I'm like, so dumb. But
Right.
so yeah.
Totally. Totally. Well,
Well,
well, I know this week is we weren't able to talk about too many new things just because we have stuff in the pipeline that are big. We were saying this for a little bit of time, but it's all be worth it.
yeah.
So appreciate everybody coming to this and watching it. If you're watching the recording, join us next week. We do this every week, same time, 10 a.m. every Wednesday. Everyone likes it. That's why you're all here. People watch it. I get people saying afterwards, it's like, oh, do those. They're really cool. I like watching them, even if I'm not there live. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
No, and we appreciate, we love doing this too because we get to chat with you guys and hear about what how you're using Jellypod and just in general. It's great motivation for us to keep
right.
going. So
And if you're watching this, leave comments. Um, and if you want to see something next week or want us to focus more on demos or actually going through the platform, let us know because we could absolutely do that, but I just know sometimes if you're here live, you already know how to use the platform and how it works. So don't want to bore you about like how to do this thing, but yeah,
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
cool.
Well, guess we'll end it here. This is,
Yep,
all right.
awesome.
Take care,
Okay.
guys. Bye.